When we think about the universe of chemical elements and which are essential for life, we usually focus up here: carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur. But elements down here, the transition metals, are also vital. Iron, certainly, but manganese, cobalt, nickel, and copper are critical to human health and are found throughout living organisms. First, what is a transition metal? Transition metals are found in the D block of the periodic table. They have electrons in partially filled D shells, which give them a special property. Transition metals are very generous with their electrons and readily share them. They lend out their electrons, oxidation, then take their electrons back again, reduction. How many electrons are exchanged depends on the metal. Electron sharing enables transition metals to interact with other compounds and to catalyze chemical reactions. Nature takes advantage of transition metals to carry out multiple functions which are critical to all living systems. In their bulk form, transition metals are shiny, dense, have high melting points, and conduct electricity, but the transition metals in living cells are not present as hunks of metal. They are present as single atoms, suspended in a coordination complex. The parts that surround the metal are called ligands. The shape or geometry of the metal coordination complex is defined by the number of ligands surrounding the metal atom. The ligands try to be as far apart as possible. So, if a metal has two ligands, the ligands will be placed at either side of the metal. If there are three ligands, it will form a triangle. If there are four, it will make a tetrahedron. 5 ligands form a trigonal bipyramid, and 6 ligands create a coordination complex that is an octahedron, one of the most commonly found coordination complexes. Now, let's take a look at how organisms use transition metals to carry out essential functions. 2 copper atoms are at the heart of hemocyanin, a protein that carries oxygen in the blood of arthropods like spiders, lobsters, and horseshoe crabs, as well as mollusks like snails, squid, and octopi. Hemocyanin gives these animals blue-colored blood. Each copper is held in a coordination complex with 3 histidine residues. As molecular oxygen is bound, the copper ions change oxidation state from +1 to +2. Creating a bright blue color, and the shape changes to a tetrahedron, with oxygen sandwiched between the 2 coppers. Vertebrates, like us, have red blood, not blue blood, and we transport oxygen through the body using element 26, iron. Red blood cells are highly specialized oxygen carriers. They are packed with a protein called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is composed of 4 subunits, with each subunit containing 1 heme. It is heme that forms the coordination complex with iron at its center. Iron forms a 5-coordinate system with the porphyrin ring surrounding the iron and a histidine residue from the protein serving as the ligand below the plane of the porphyrin. Iron must be in the +2 oxidation state to bind oxygen. As molecular oxygen binds, iron oxidizes to +3. Oxygen forms the 6th ligand of the octahedral coordination complex in oxyhemoglobin, forming a bright red color. Oxygen binding is reversible, allowing O2 to be released at the peripheral tissues. Poisonous substances like carbon monoxide and cyanide also bind to heme. Carbon monoxide binds with an affinity 200 times greater than oxygen, effectively shutting down oxygen delivery. Moving down the top row of D block to element 25, we come to manganese, another transition metal. Manganese is at the heart of the oxygen-evolving complex, a system which underpins all life on Earth. All the food we eat and the oxygen we breathe depends on it. The photosynthetic organisms, including cyanobacteria, algae, and plants, possess the ability to use light energy to split water into oxygen and uses the energy to drive photosynthesis. Critical to this process is a manganese complex called the oxygen-evolving complex. The OEC contains 4 manganese ions, 1 calcium ion, and several oxygen atoms. Each manganese resides in an octahedral coordination complex. The production of electrons and protons establishes an electrochemical gradient that is used to drive the production of ATP and NADPH, critical for the support of cell energetics and growth. Moving from manganese over to element 27, we come to cobalt, another transition metal critical to life. Cobalt is a trace element provided in the diet as vitamin B12. It is the only vitamin that contains a metal ion. The cobalt ring is in an octahedral coordination complex. The ring surrounds the cobalt is called a Corin ring. The structure is complicated, and some substituents on the ring have been deleted here for clarity. Vitamin B12 is unusual for a number of reasons. Unlike most metal-containing cofactors, humans and other animals cannot make this cobalt complex. Only bacteria and archaea can synthesize it. Humans must get vitamin B12 from animal sources or from a dietary supplement. Cobalt is present in human plasma in vanishingly small amounts, about 1.7 nanomolar, much lower concentration than the other transition metals. The average daily intake of cobalt for a healthy person is 5 to 8 micrograms. Although the amounts are low, it is critical. Without cobalt, severe disease results. Cobalt is essential for the biosynthesis of red blood cells, and deficiency leads to pernicious anemia, which is easily treated with vitamin B12. In dietary supplements containing vitamin B12, the most common form is cyanocobalamin, in which the top ligand is a cyanide group. This form is easy to isolate and is stable in storage. In the body, the cyanide group is replaced by a hydroxy group, or to a methyl group, forming the functional coenzyme methylcobalamin. For simplicity, let's abbreviate the methylcobalamin coordination complex as methylcobalt-3. The Roman numeral 3 indicates that the cobalt is in its +3 oxidation state. Methionine synthase utilizes methylcobalamin as a methyl donor to convert homocysteine to methionine, one of the amino acids used to build proteins. In this step, cobalt gains 2 electrons to become cobalt-1. In a subsequent step, methylcobalamin is regenerated by transfer of a methyl group from 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate to make tetrahydrofolate, which is central for the biosynthesis of purines and pyrimidines, the building blocks of DNA and RNA. Nature has evolved to take advantage of the unique oxidation reduction properties of transition metals. Even though they are present in living systems at much lower levels than carbon, hydrogen, or oxygen, they occupy a critical niche in biology, catalyzing chemical reactions and taking on roles that no other element can fulfill. And it's not just iron, copper, manganese, and cobalt. Other transition elements are essential to life, including vanadium, chromium, nickel, and molybdenum. If you would like to learn more about transition metals, see the links in the video description. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to Science Sketch.